Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Our attempt has been to see how the five koshas we cannot be. And this is one of the spiritual practice what Vedanta Shastra tells us. That Panchakoshanche Pangaruna Viveka Hastane Kaduna. So which are these five coverings? The gross body, the Annamaya Kosha, then Pranamaya Kosha. How these two things we cannot be, we have seen. Now the third kosha is the mind. Manahe navesi nishchita chanchala samshayete grastha aham mamatve lipta yahu na vilakshanatu chidghana. Manahi navesi nishchita. It is for certain that you also cannot be the mind. How we cannot be the mind? Because number one, chanchala. This is that word used by Arjuna in Bhagavan Krishna's discourses. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavad dhrudam. Hey Bhagavan, you are asking us to keep the mind in equanimity. See, samatvam yoga uchyate. So, योयम योगस्त्वया प्रोक्तः साम्येन मधुसूदन तस्याहम न पश्यामि चंचलत्वा स्थितिम स्थिराम. I don't think it is ever possible that our mind can remain equanimous, because it is chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavad dhrudam. Four things are told by Arjuna. First, it is chanchala, constantly changing from time to time, place to place, object to object, theme to theme, mood to mood, chanchalam. Then pramati, it is not only itself disturbed all the time, but it also churns all our sense organs and organs of action. Pramati means mathanam, churning. So when we are extremely angry, that anger is shown on the tip of the nose. The nose becomes red and the eyes also shoot, and there is a totally different look in the eyes. Then we understand, okay, this person is angry, because the sense organs are also influenced by the mind. Pramati. Then balavat. And it is so powerful and strong that although we don't want to be angry, yet the anger overpowers us. And then if that time somebody asks us, why are you angry? Who told you I am angry? I am not angry. See, immediately the anger bursts out. We just are waiting for some opportunity to burst open. Balavat. And dhrudam. Dhrudam is obstinate, jiddi. So these are the four qualities of the mind. Chanchalam, pramati, balavat, dhrudam. And etasya nigraham aham manne vayoho iva sudushkaram. And I think, the control of such a mind is as difficult as controlling the flowing winds. You can't control the winds. Therefore, this mind, how it can be me, it cannot be me, it is constantly changing. We don't have the experience that we are changing. See, this is one particular observation. If we remain more and more aware in this, like in the today's meditation session, we are trying to comprehend this principle. When you concentrate, you get tired. When you concentrate, you are working through the mind. But when you remain aware, you have dropped everything. And then there is no pressure inside anywhere. But if we are still holding on to the mind and trying to control the mind and all that, it is something like trying to put more things in the suitcase than the suitcase can take. And then we sit on that and try to zip it, and finally the zip breaks and everything gone. This is exactly our meditation. See? Because we are struggling. There is no struggle in meditation. It is absolutely free from all struggle. Therefore, this unchanging principle being ourselves, how can we be this constantly changing principle called as the mind? Therefore, manahi navesi nishchita chanchala, then samshayate grasta, then it is always infected by samshaya, the doubt. There is doubt about everything. As the age increases, one starts losing confidence on one's own mind. See, I remember there used to be one old man with whom I had to stay when I was young. I am also like him only. So, whenever we used to go out every day for lunch to a hotel, in Calcutta it used to happen. And there was, this collapsible gate, inside door, then collapsible gate. And then he was old, but he said, no, I will do it. So, okay, do it. So, he used to do it. And then lock, huge lock, and then pull it. And thereafter we go down 2 stories. Then he said, did I lock the gate properly? I said, yes. No, it must not be properly. You go and check. I said, okay. No, you will not go. I know, I will go. See, everywhere doubt. Again he will climb and pull, as I used to call him Mama. I said, Mama, you will pull the gate with you when you go for the lunch. So much doubt. Samshaya atma vinashyati. Such doubting toms can never be at peace with themselves or with anybody. So, chanchala samshayate grasta. Then aham mamatve lipta. Then the third aspect of the mind, this mind is the seat where mamata is sitting. See? So what is our mind? It is West Bengal. Constantly mamata. So much attached to the things. So much possessive about the things. Creating so many relations. See, friends, live in this world in such a manner, Bhagavan Shankara says, Shatrau mitre putre bandho ma kuru yatnam vigraha sandho. Do not create any kind of relations or enmity or friendship in this world. Whenever and wherever you are, live 100%. That is the simplest way to lead spiritual life. Let us not carry any load of the possessions and the relations. These 2 things we carry as a load, not only physically, but also we carry the load on our mind in the form of memories. So, aham mamatve lipta mamata. Then ahanta. This mind, when gets identified with the body, then only the mind starts imagining I am the body. When the mind starts getting identified with its own modification, if there is a disturbance in the mind, then I am disturbed. In this manner, all these modifications together are called as ahanta and mamata. So, aham mamatve lipta yahuna vilakshanatu chidgana. So, oh dear friend, disciple, you are totally different from this mind. Okay? And once we understand this, like I am different from the mic. So, if I am different from the mic and in this mic, this machine is hanging, so I will never feel that there is a load on my neck. Because I am not that. In the same manner, if the mind is disturbed, there is no reason that we should feel that I am disturbed. We should be, and it is here we have to become extremely alert that are we getting identified with the disturbances in the mind, or we are merely eliminating the disturbances. And when we are getting to this point that we are eliminating the disturbances of the mind, then we can think what is the cause of the disturbance. And then we come to know behind or at the beginning of every disturbance there is somebody, and that somebody is responsible for all the problems of life. See, this is how Yahona Vegada tu Yahona Vilakshana tu Chidghana. Now there are two aspects. Mind is knowledge and consciousness is also knowledge. Now what is the difference between mind as a knowledge and consciousness as a knowledge? In case of the knowledge as mind, there are options of is and is not. See? Do you know what is this? Yes, I know. This is a remote control. Very good. Then I put it down. Now what is in my hand? Now there is no remote control in your hand. So this remote control is recognized by us in two ways. One, it is, and other, it is not. This is the knowledge as mind, number one. Number two, knowledge as mind is that knowledge where a sense of not I-ness prevails. See, this is the camera, I know, and I am not the camera. So in this knowledge, this is the camera, where I am not the camera, sense is clearly telling that this knowledge belongs to the mind. See? So that knowledge where the triputi happens, that knowledge where the knower known knowledge triputi happens, that knowledge falls in the purview of the mind. Now what is the knowledge as consciousness? Knowledge as consciousness is that where, first of all, there is no option of is or is not. And therefore, this knowledge is beyond both the presence and the absence. And therefore, we can have the experience waking is, dream is not, dream is, deep sleep is not, deep sleep is, waking dream is not. This is possible. But whether I am or I am not, this option is not valid. When we can never experience our absence, is it wise to call that we are present? See, when there is only one son, one child, is it necessary to tell that he is my eldest son? No, he is the one. In the same manner, in the pure consciousness, there is no option, is or is not. That is what Bhagavad Gita says, Anadi mat param brahma na tat sat na tat asat uchyate. Therefore, this reality cannot be spoken of as is or is not. So, Chidghana means that knowledge where the option of presence and absence are invalid. Now, second thing. Consciousness as knowledge is that knowledge where the knowing and being is one. In case of the mind as the knowledge, there the knowing and being is separate. Like, this is a camera, knowing, and I am not the camera. So here knowing and being is separate. But when I come to recognize the consciousness, so the consciousness, if it is recognized, it cannot be known other than the self. Because the Sat and the Chit are not two, they are one and the same reality. Therefore, Yahuna Vilakshana tu Chidghana, you are that pure consciousness where the option of is and is not are not valid. where there is no objectivity involved, where the knowing and being is one, and this knowledge can never be negated. The knowledge in the mind has option. If something is, then that is, the absence is negated. If something is absent, then the presence negates the absence. In this manner, there is no negation possible in the pure consciousness. When waking is there, dream is negated. When dream is there, deep sleep is negated. But in and through all the experiences, the consciousness remains the same. Whether the waking comes and goes, dream comes and goes, deep sleep comes and goes, samadhi comes and goes, conscious space remains as it is. Yahuna vilakshana tu chidgana, that conscious reality thou art. बुद्धि नवेसी तू निश्चय निद्रा काली होत से लय जागता देही व्याप्त होय याहू न वेगड़ा तू आत्मा. So after we are completed the mind, now we go to the intellect. बुद्धि नवेसी तू निश्चय निद्रा काली होत से लय. Why we are not the intellect? Because of this intellect. Where is the seat of I? When the intellect gets identified with the miseries of the mind, I becomes miserable. When intellect gets identified with the modification of the prana, hunger and thirst, I become hungry and thirsty. When the intellect becomes identified with the gross body, then I becomes the man or woman, young or old. So this Vijnanamaya Kosha or the Buddhi is the seat where I is born. See? So Annamaya Kosha is the house where we live. Pranamaya Kosha is the powerhouse which supplies the energy. Manomaya Kosha is the means of communication. Now question comes, house for whom? For I. Power for whom? For I. Means of communication for whom? For I. Who is this I? This I is Vijnanamaya Kosha, the intellect. So this intellect, Nidra Kali Hota Se Laya, in the deep sleep, the intellect is no more identified with the body. See? And when the intellect is not identified with the body, waking experiences disappear, dream experiences disappear, but we continue to exist. We never disappear. And therefore, Jagata Dehi Vyapta Hoya. And again, what is the waking state? Waking state is again when the intellect becomes manifest and gets identified with the gross body, again the waking experience starts. See? That is what we told you the other day. These four experiences belong to the four aspects of the mind. Intellect predominant is the waking state. Mind predominant is the dream state. Ahankar predominant is the deep sleep state. And the Chitta predominant is the Samadhi state. So these states belong to the Antakaran Chatushtaya. They don't belong to the pure consciousness. For pure consciousness, it is the same. See? Like, this hall you take for example. Vedanta class doesn't belong to the hall. It belongs to you and me. We go. Then the yoga class comes. The yoga class doesn't belong to the hall. The second group of students and the teacher. Then that goes. Then the third group comes, where they are doing some drama practice. So that experience never belongs to the hall, it belongs to the third group. Hall is present in all of them, but does not get influenced by any one of them. In the same manner, in this conscious space, the clouds of waking experience come, rain, empty and go away. Then in the same conscious space, the clouds of dream come, they thunder, make noise, but do not rain, they also go away. Then in the deep sleep, clouds, there is nothing but pitch darkness. That also comes and goes away. Nothing happens to the conscious space. Then the fourth cloud is that of the samadhi, where it is a cloudless sky. But that also comes and goes away. But this Chidakasha remains untouched. This is our essential nature. Therefore, बुद्धि नवेसी तु निश्चय निद्रा काढ़ी होत से लय जागता देही व्याप्त होय. So what is the waking experience? Therefore, waking experience belongs to the intellect, and therefore intellectuals are most miserable in life. Those who are living in the waking experience but no more living intellectually, but they are living with the simplicity and purity of the mind, such people are never miserable. See, you will see the simple folks around in our Kaivalyadham, you see all these class 4 employees, you will not see on anybody's face a frown. They are all cheerful and happy. They go home, and what is to be done? Come in the morning, finish bath, put the tika, and then come with a smiling face. No complaint, work the whole day and go back. See, what a joy it is. And those who are those who come here as patients, see, all those who are patients, they are necessarily rich. No poor patient comes here. And all those patients are having, majority of them, only problems, either the mental or the physical. First of all, they spend lot of money to put on the weight. Then they spend double the money to reduce the weight. What is that? Prosperity. Intellectuals. See. Never giving attention to the divine self that we are. It is only because they are the victims of this intellect. Therefore, when I talk to people, after going through many experiences, I have come to this conclusion. When I talk to people, first condition, no discussion, no argument. I have no time for any discussion, I have no interest for any argument. If a person calls a horse a donkey, try to prove that it is a horse. It is the height of foolishness. See? Therefore, it is a folly to be wise among the fools. Remain as you are. People call you fool, so you tell, don't underestimate me, you don't know. I am from Maharashtra, therefore Maha-fool, not ordinary fool. Let us not get disturbed by this word, it is always like that. So, jagata dehi vyapta hoye jahun vegada tu atma. So, now understand this point clearly. Annamaya kosha is the house, we are not the house. Pranamaya kosha is the power supply, we are not the power supply. Then Manomaya kosha is the means of communication, we are not the means of communication. Then who are we? I am the Vijnanamaya kosha. Now here it is said, you are also not the Vijnanamaya kosha, because this Vijnanamaya kosha gets identified with these three conditionings and behaves in three different ways, and he is never available all the time. Vijnanamaya kosha is not available in the deep sleep. Vijnanamaya kosha is not available in the dream. Vijnanamaya kosha is not available in the deep sleep. How it can be you, my dear? And therefore, Yahuna Vegada tu Atma. You are someone other than. Vegada means of other nature. Vilakshana. So what is the other nature? That which is present both in the waking and the dream, but that which is not influenced by the waking and the dream is the self. Second thing, This Vijnanamaya Kosha comes and goes, appears and disappears. But the self never appears nor disappears, it is ever the same reality. This is our essential nature. So we have discarded the four koshas, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya. Now we come to the Anandamaya Kosha. Nidrananda hi tu navesi, ha ananda ekadeshi, bimba bhuta atmatvayasi, atmatvetu paripurna. See, Anandamaya Kosha, now understand it this way. If you take any coin, see, suppose this is a coin. Every coin has got two sides. Like a mirror. Mirror has got two sides. One side you can see the reflection, other side you cannot see the reflection. Suppose you keep the mirror in front of you and a reflecting surface is kept at you, so you will see your reflection. But if you turn the mirror and keep the reflecting surface away from you and mirror is in front of you, you cannot see your own reflection. In the same manner, Vijnanamaya Kosha is like a coin. When the Vijnanamaya Kosha is facing outward, the world appears. And the world appears to be real. And then Vijnanamaya Kosha becomes the seer, the knower, the experiencer, the enjoyer, the sufferer. Because in the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the world is reflected. Now when the same Vijnanamaya Kosha turns 180 degrees, now it is taken away from the world and now it is facing to its own source. Now in that Vijnanamaya Kosha, it is completely introvert. What will be reflected? Not the world, but the bliss of the self that we are. So in the Anandamaya Kosha, now Vijnanamaya Kosha, when it becomes introvert, it is called as Anandamaya Kosha. See? And when this Vijnanamaya Kosha has become Anandamaya Kosha, then in this Vijnanamaya Kosha, which has become Anandamaya Kosha, because now in this, the bliss is reflected. And that is why in deep sleep, we all experience bliss. But that bliss is the reflection of the bliss and not the actual bliss. See, our reflection in the mirror and our face, it looks 100% identical, is it not? Depending upon the quality of the mirror. In the same manner, when the Vijnanamaya Kosha is outward, the world appears to be real. And when the Vijnanamaya Kosha is turned towards the self, source, then in that Vijnanamaya Kosha, the bliss is reflected. Therefore it is called as Anandamaya Kosha. Now the word Maya has to be clearly understood. We have seen the other day, Anandamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. Maya, 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 5 times has come. What is the meaning of this word Maya? Maya means modification. Matu pratyaya. So, Annamaya Kosha, our gross body is nothing but the modification of the food. The food is eaten by our parents and the food is modified as the seeds in both the parents, then the seeds come together and then a baby is born and that baby is also living on the food and keeps on eating throughout the life, and one day when the person dies, it becomes a food for others, and thus the body is nothing but the born out of the food, maintained in the food, and modification of the food ultimately to become food for everybody. So Annamaya Kosha is nothing but the modification of Anna, the food. Pranamaya kosha, beyond our nose, 12 fingers distance, if you take from your nostril end, 12 fingers, if you put like this, 4, 4 and 4, this distance. This 12 finger distance is equivalent to this span of the tip of your thumb and the small finger. This distance is called as 12 finger, Dvadashangula. This Dvadashangula is the measurement of all the body important points. See, from the Manipur chakra to the Anaha chakra, the distance is 12 fingers. Below the Anaha chakra is the samsara. In Anaha chakra, the seeker is born. From the Anaha chakra to the throat, the Vishuddha chakra, when the seeker migrates, he is now living as Atma, no more getting influenced by the modifications of the mind or the intellect. He has come here. Then from the throat, Vishuddha chakra to the Agya chakra, again the distance is 12 fingers. In the 12 Agya chakra, the experience is Aham Brahmasmi. And from the nose outside, 12 fingers, is the shell of air. And the moment the air enters this shell, the same air is converted into prana. And when the air is converted into prana, it becomes divided into prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana and the subsequent vayu upapranas, and this is how the body is kept alive. So, the pranamaya kosha is also modification of air. Then manomaya kosha. Manomaya kosha, man is the dhatu, from that this mana word comes. Mana means thinking. So it is the modification of thoughts. So constantly there are modifications. Therefore, chanchalam hi mana Krishna. So constantly there are modifications, never stays in the same manner. Then comes Vijnanamaya kosha. Vijnanamaya kosha is modification of the experience. We are seeing the misery, but we become miserable. So the seer has, instead of simply seeing, got identified and became miserable. In this manner, the Vijnanamaya kosha is the modification of the experience, and Anandamaya kosha. Anandamaya kosha is bliss modified as reflection. And therefore there are degrees in the Anandamaya kosha, but there is no degree in the absolute bliss. These degrees of Anandamaya kosha are the Priya, Moda and the Pramoda. When we are thinking about someone, what we love, what we like, that kind of experience is called as Priya. When that object is in front of us for enjoyment, that experience is called as Moda. And when we really start enjoying that object, then it is called as Pramoda. So these are the 3 degrees of bliss. Therefore, Anandamaya kosha is also not the Paramatma, the absolute self, but it is the reflected bliss. Therefore, Ha Ananda Ekadeshi. This Anandamaya kosha requires n number of conditions to be fulfilled. If these conditions are not fulfilled, there cannot be Anandamaya kosha experience. And therefore, Bimba Bhuta Atmatvayasi. So Bimba means the original face, and reflection in the mirror is called as Pratibimba. So the Pratibimba in the mirror cannot exist without the original face. So the sun is the Bimba, and what is seen in the pot of water is the Pratibimba. In the same manner, the bliss that is experienced in the deep sleep in the Anandamaya kosha is originally from the absolute bliss, which is merely reflected in the Anandamaya kosha. And therefore, it is incomplete. It is not a complete bliss. Therefore, Atmatvetu Paripurna. But you are bliss without any conditioning. See? Because when all the Panchakoshas are dropped, there is no modification possible. See? Modifications are possible in the earth, modifications are possible in the fire, water and air. No modification can ever happen to the space. In the same manner, this conscious reality, like the conscious space, supports the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya koshas, and also the reflection of this bliss in the Anandamaya kosha, but remains independent, free, complete, fulfilled in their presence as well as absence, paripurna. Therefore, the most important spiritual practice is to have contentment as the spiritual practice. Contentment indicates fulfillment. Fulfillment is possible only when we are merged in the infinite. When we are holding on to anything finite, there cannot be fulfillment in life. Therefore, Bimba Bhuta Atmatvayasi Atmatve tu Paripurna. Atmatve, as the self alone we can be complete. See, as a son we cannot be complete because we are son because of the father. As a husband we cannot be complete because we are husband because of the wife. As a father we cannot be complete because we are father because of the son. Suppose the father dies, I cannot be the son. Suppose the wife dies, I cannot be the husband. Suppose the son dies, I cannot be the father. And when all of them die, I continue to be. So I, as a man, is independent. And I, as a son, as a husband, as a father, they are dependent virtual realities. They are not the absolute one. In this manner, when we come to recognize this point, that all sufferings are only in the conditioned expressions. These are because of the limitations. And all that we do in our life is to break the limitations. See, what we understand by freedom? Freedom means whatever I want to do, I should be allowed to do. Then I am free. But in fact, we are the victims of our own mind. We don't understand that. The real freedom is going beyond the impact of the mind or the intellect. That is real freedom. And therefore, this self is independent. Whether things are there or not, it makes no difference. Like for the space, whether there are volcanoes erupting or tsunamis bubbling, it makes no difference to the space. Whether there is inferno or there are heavy winds, it makes no difference to the space. In the same manner, whether there are good thoughts or bad thoughts, it makes no difference to the mind. Similarly, whether there is waking, dream, deep sleep or samadhi experience comes and goes, it makes no difference to the conscious space. This conscious space is our essential nature. See, friends. And without the space, existence is not possible. See, when we construct a house, let us say this hall. Suppose the cost of construction of this hall is 100,000 rupees. Now, where the 100,000 rupees are spent? On the flooring, on the walls, on the windows, on the ceiling, then on the roofing, fixtures, curtains. But where we live in the space. And how much money is spent on the space? Nothing. And all expenditure is only, let us paint the walls, they are not good. Spend money. Nothing happens to the space. But where we are living, that we give zero recognition in the same manner. Mind is supporting all kinds of thoughts, good and bad. But mind is never influenced by any thought. So instead of recognizing the mind, we get lost in the thoughts. Instead of recognizing the conscious space, we get lost in the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper and samadhistha purusha. Therefore, all the spiritual practices change your focal length. And when we change our focal length, we come to discover that which was hidden because of our inability to focus properly. See? You must have seen these days some three-dimensional pictures are coming. And those three-dimensional pictures, when you see, normally you can't see. It looks like some design. You can't see what it is. I'll tell you one of my experience. We were somewhere in, I think, Ahmedabad Management Association. And on the wall, a very simple picture was framed and kept. It was not meant to be there. Something abnormal suddenly. So when I went and saw that, my friend asked me, Swamiji, can you tell what it is? I said, no, I want to ask you. He said, I will not tell you. If you find out, I will appreciate what it is. I said, okay. Then I stood before the picture, kept my eyes at infinite focus. So I was not seeing anything. I was only looking. And then I could see all the three dimensions. And then I told, it is Om, behind the Om there is a swastik, behind that there is a big star, and at the base it is written Om Bhurbhuva Swaha. He got up from the chair, he said, my God, I can't believe this. No, show me. And then he took out a booklet. And there were 30 pages. He said, if you can tell me what is in this. I said, start writing down. He said, don't see the... I said, no, I will not see. I am keeping it at a distance. I can't read even. And then I started lifting the pages, one after another. All the 30 pictures I told in 10 seconds. He said, Swamiji, this is for you. I have never discovered this. What is the technique? And the technique is be happy. There is no other technique. We become so tense on every small little issue. Okay? And after that, the other day I told one of my friends in Bombay, he said, Swami, what is difficult in that? I said, there is no difficulty, see this picture. And he tried and tried and tried. I am not able to see. I said, it's very simple. Because you are complicated, you can't see simple things. You tell me the technique. I told him. I said, look, but don't see. He said, you talk very funny. I said, I am made like that. And when he failed, he said, I can't see. Exactly, this is the technique, spiritual technique. If we are able to withdraw from names and forms, we see the existence. If we get beyond the thoughts, good and bad, we are in the mind. When we go beyond the waker, dreamer, deep sleeper and samadhi person, we are the pure consciousness. So where is the error? The error is in adjusting the focal length. See? The importance of focal length I discovered when I went to one of the schools and they were showing me in their laboratory that this is this, like that. So on one microscope they say, Swamiji, we'll show you blood cells. I say, look here, I am a vegetarian, I don't want to see. No, we will not do anything to you, only in the slide we will show you. So they put the slide and show, see. So I was seeing, where is the blood cell? I don't see. No, you have to see inside. So I started seeing, not like that, you have to see inside. So I started inside. I said, I don't see anything. No, this is the finer adjustment. With that you can change the focal length and see. So I tried, I said nothing is seen, useless. Now everybody is seeing, I am not able to see. The reason is I am not able to adjust focal length. And when I learned the technique of adjusting the focal length, I could see clearly everything. Exactly the same way. All the spiritual practice is the ability to adjust the focal length. See? When we are preoccupied with the non-essentials, we miss. See? I'll tell you how we get preoccupied with the non-essentials and what is another experience. This happened in Assam. In some Assami family I went for food. And that lady, old lady, she had about 8 sons, all married. Everybody had one wife, 3, 4 children. A huge family. And that old lady, in their house, for the first time some Swamiji was going. In their whole dynasty, nobody ever has gone. So she was so excited. She prepared about 28 dishes, like 28 nakshatras. All vegetarian. All her sons and daughter-in-laws telling, see, he doesn't eat this, he doesn't eat. Why you are preparing so much? No, he will eat. You don't know. Let people say, he will eat. So she prepared so many things. When I went there, the moment I saw her, I said, hey, let me take myself. Nobody give me. So I took the plate and every dish I have taken. Everything. Whatever I eat or don't eat. And when I ate that, then she was telling me, see, you were telling he doesn't eat. He has taken everything. You are unnecessarily telling me. Now all of them were frustrated. Swami, we have seen you don't eat this thing. Why you are taking this here now? I said, who are you to ask me? I will do whatever I want. I am not your slave. No, but what is the reason? I said, look here, Maharaj, with what love she has prepared, that is important. My rules are not important. See, friends, if we are able to change our focal length, the quality of our life will be different. We are more concerned about discipline. We are more concerned about what I want. See, friends, this ability to go beyond the non-essentials and discover the obvious is living in meditation. Therefore, Atmatvetu Paripurna. When we discover the self correctly, from that standpoint, nothing other than the self will be seen. It is something like, at the base of a pyramid, the distances between 4 points will be very wide. And each person will talk about his path better. Suppose there are 4 persons at 4 corners and they are climbing. So one person will say path of karma is better, second will say path of yoga is better, third will say path of devotion is better, fourth will say path of knowledge is better, and they will keep on fighting. But the one who has already reached on the top, he will stop talking even. See? Because what means you have used is not important. Whether you have reached the destination or not is important. See, friends. And he who has reached the destination, from the water standpoint, there is neither the ocean the cause nor waves the effect. So what do I recognize myself as? If I recognize myself as wave, others are waves. Then fighting, competition, jealousy. If I recognize myself as wave and ocean, then surrender to the ocean. If I recognize myself as ocean, then loving everybody, sarvatmya anubhuti. And when I recognize myself to be the pure waters, then there is none other than me. Such wise people, name dveshosti na priya. See? Because water never gets contaminated by anything. It remains always pure. In this manner, Atmatvetu Paripurna. This is our essential nature come to discover. Panchakoshanna janata ha atma jana ayata ha anubhava geta tatvata pahuna nisangatu hoshi. Panchakoshancha janata. Now the one who is knower of all these Panchakoshas. No, are we not? See, here we are not talking about some Tom, Dick and Harry. We are talking about ourselves. We know the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. So the simple rule is, the knower is different from the known. And when this knower-known duality ends, so how does it end? We transcend. So that which is known is not me. This is the thumb rule. So Annamaya Kosha is known to me, I drop it. Pranamaya Kosha, drop. Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. And the one who dropped everything, can we drop him? See? Panchakoshanna janata. This experience remains 24/7. Whether you are walking, talking, eating, sleeping, this experience never gets corrupted. Like the space never gets contaminated. Even if we want, we cannot contaminate the space. So, Panchakoshanna janata ha atma jana ayata. Ayata means effortless. See? Wherever there is finite, efforts are involved. In the infinite, no efforts are involved. This is the principle used by Patanjali. When he talks about asana, sthira sukham asanam, steady bliss is asanam. And further he says, how do we attain the spiritual practice he gives? Prayatna shaithilya ananta samapattibhyam. Effortlessness is possible only if there is merging in the absolute. See the difference between these two phenomena. One is the movement of the waters in the river, and second is movement of the waters in the ocean. What is the difference? In case of the movement of the waters in the river, there is a need, there is a compulsion, there is a struggle to attain fulfillment. But the movement of the waters in the ocean is an expression of fulfillment. It is not out of need, it is not out of compulsion. This is what Tukaram Maharaj says, na anandache dohi anandata. Therefore, the wise people, they do not live in this world to gain happiness. The wise people live in this world to express happiness. See? They become the counter through which there is a free home delivery. Free home delivery means what? You don't have to go to the maternity home. घर में ही बच्चे तैयार. What a joy it is, Therefore, Panchakoshanna Janataha Atma Jana Ayata. There are no efforts. Why efforts come in our life? Number one, we want to prove something to somebody. See? The husband wants to prove to his wife that he loves her. And the more he, poor fellow, struggles, the more she doubts. Why these days he is getting everyday flower for me? There must be some reason. See? Why he is remembering my every small little thing? You know? How he remembered that I like this particular pessary from this particular shop? There must be some reason. And that poor fellow ultimately fails. The wife tries to prove her husband that she loves him. And the more she tries, the more he starts. She must be wanting something, otherwise she can't be like this. There is something wrong. See? And our whole life is only a struggle. See? And wherever there is struggle, you cannot be at peace. Including your meditation. When you struggle in meditation, then you are waiting when the ghanti goes. You know about this ghanti, I will tell you. I went to some other country, and that Mahatmaji there, very funny person, he calls himself to be Jagat Guru. Any Tom, Dick and Harry can call, because Jagat Guru is not a title awarded by a university. And then he is considered to be yogi. Tells, sit down, anywhere. And then he says, you know Ashtanga Yoga, Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama Pratyahara Dhamana Dhyana Samadhi. So whichever stage you are, from there you start. I'll ring the bell, you start. And I'll again ring the bell, you stop. Okay? Now take your position. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Ready? Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. And all those people are silently suffering. Because they don't know when the ghanti will go. Their attention is not on Paramatma, attention is on ghanti. And then, according to his mood and whim and fancy, sometimes the ghanti goes in 2 minutes. Sometimes the ghanti doesn't go. See, meditation. See, friends, whenever this yoga is learned from a person who has not lived the yoga right from childhood, is only writing paper, publishing, getting an increment. It has nothing to do with the practice of yoga. See? Because the only words. And once you become expert in writing an article, then you can write an article in no time. The standard pro forma. Introduction, material methods, then the review of literature, and then experiment, and then conclusion, and then bibliography, and then submission, and I get 220 rupees. Useless. This has nothing to do with spirituality. Therefore, Panchakoshanna Dhanata Ha Atma Dhana Ayata Ha Anubhava Gheta Tatvata. See, it is not intellectual appreciation. It is not intellectual recognition. Anubhava Gheta Tatvata. It must be our immediate experience. Then only Pahona Nisangatu Hoshi. Then you will come to discover what is the meaning of freedom from attachment. What is that? We will take in our next class. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।